Okay, hey everybody. I think we're live now. Thank you for Maria for setting this up. And if everybody can see me, I'm waving at you. Maria said it's best if I'm on camera so you guys can see my pretty face. So anyway, I want to introduce myself. I'm Kevin Geiger, our Vice President of Client Strategy here at Acropolis. I'm one of those employees that has been here forever and just about have worked in every role in the company. I have worked with most of our clients in at least some capacity. So if any of you are out there, hello. I did see a few of you that joined. Welcome. Also, on behalf of Acropolis, we want to thank you for joining us today. This is our fourth webinar in a new webinar series, which happens to be my first one. So please be kind in your feedback. Okay, so the goal today is to introduce you to another one of those lesser known applications included in the Microsoft Office 365 or M365 stack called Microsoft Forms. And we're going to compare it to some other options that are available. Hopefully after the sessions, you can find some ways to leverage the Forms app in your business, either to save time or just to have fun with the surveys and polls. Just some quick housekeeping notes. Our marketing director, Maria, will be producing the webinar. So you may hear her speak up at some point if there's a question or if I didn't see if there's problems like the quality for Teams Slacks or something like that, she'll let me know. She will also do any final editing and send out a link to the webinar if you weren't able to catch all of it, or if you would like to share it with others, which we hope you do. So big thanks to Maria for coordinating. All of you are muted, but if you think of a question, please select the Q&A button in Teams, type your question in there, and we'll go over them at the end in the order they were received. So I've got a little screenshot of where that is in Teams if you're not familiar. If I can't answer something right away or we run out of time, I will follow up via email. So our agenda for today, first, what I'm going to do is go over and give you a quick description of what Forms is and how to access it. Then we'll go into the Forms program. We'll create a survey, a quiz, and a poll. That's our tutorial section. Next, I will show you how you can leverage Forms and other Microsoft apps like Teams and Outlook. Also, I will show you just a little bit about another online Forms platform that we use, just so you can get a comparison of features. Finally, we'll recap and do a little Q&A. Okay, so what is Forms? Microsoft Forms is a simple, lightweight Office app that lets you create surveys, quizzes, and polls. In businesses, it can be used to collect customer feedback, measure employee satisfaction, improve your product or business, or just simply organize company events. It's also used in education for things like quizzes. Using an online forms program is much better and easier than relying on emailing or mailing out paper surveys. We've all done those. You know, you send out the form, you collect responses, you maybe scan them in, or you start an email thread and just say, hey, what does everybody think about this? And you've got a million responses that you then have to organize in Excel or put into a folder in Outlook. You've probably heard us mention the term digital transformation. That's where you're converting your business processes from online to digital. I'm sorry, from class like paper to digital or online form. And obviously converting a paper forms to an online form is probably one of the best examples of the transition. Just a quick note, Forms is free to use for education customers and included in most Microsoft 365 and Office 365 business plans. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and jump into the Forms demo. Just give me a second to get my demo screen up here. You should be able to see that I'm in the Edge browser here. So how you get to Forms is there's a couple ways to do it. One is you can just go to your Office portal, and if you're on Office 365, you can go to just office.com or portal.office.com. You may be prompted for your credentials if you haven't logged in for the day. Obviously, with this demo account, I've already been logged in. From the menu, you've got all your apps here, and sometimes Forms is not really on the main screen. You may have to click all apps to see it, but since I've used it recently, it's kind of pinned it for me right here. So you can click right here to get into Forms. I'm just going to go ahead and jump into, I went to forms.office.com, and this is what comes up. Okay. Oops, I'm sorry, I messed that up, didn't I? Sorry about that. Okay, so what can you do with Forms? You can create polls, quizzes, surveys, things like that. The easiest thing to do is just jump right in. You can create a new form here. And we're going to go through some basic form design. So first, you just need to add a title. Pretty obvious what you do there. untitled form, and you can add a picture for your background. I'm sorry, for the form if you want. In this case, I've put our logo on OneDrive. I can click this. Sometimes it actually gives an error that it's slow to load or something, but hopefully it'll work this time. Yep, it didn't work, so let me try that one more time. We'll move on if it doesn't cooperate with me. While it's loading that, you can change the name of the form, enter a description if you want, and you can go ahead and start adding your questions in. The different types of questions that are available, pretty obvious what they are. Multiple choice with radio buttons. You can also have check boxes instead. You can enter text like a name or something like that. There's a rating system, obviously date, and then there's some more off here to the right. So you can rank things. There's like more advanced. This is a more advanced view, like what are your most important features for a product, and that would fill that out. You can also add more questions here. It's got Net Promoter Score. You can also divide things into sections, which we're going to go over later. So after you just get a couple of questions done, let's go and add a text box here. What is your name? You can make it required. You can change the order of your questions, so you can move them up and down if you like. You can add more questions here. Let's just put a simple, you can put a file upload, so they can upload a document and attach it to the form. Okay, that's still loading that picture. Don't worry about that. It will work for you. All right, some of the advanced features in the form are located over here on the right. You can also, I'll go over the sharing here in a minute. If you want to change your theme, this is a pretty plain background on the form. I'll go ahead and pick something like this. Changes the background on there. When you're ready to look at it and see how it's looking for you, you can hit preview, and it will show you exactly what the end user sees, both on the computer and also on mobile. So if they do it on their phone, this is what it would look like. Okay. When you get your form ready to go, you can hit share, and these are the choices here. So if you, the default is it only sends it to people in your Office 365 organization. So the link here would only be valid for those people, but you can actually allow it to be used outside the organization. Those responses will be shown as anonymous unless you ask for their name in one of the fields, and you can get their name that way. There are different ways to share the form. This is just the simple link, and then you can paste that anywhere you want. You can paste it into a document, an email, whatever. There's even a QR code you can get, and you can attach that to a document, which basically is just a way for them to take a picture of it with the QR scanner, and it will take them right to your survey or form. You can embed it in a website. So maybe, for example, you've got on your website, on your info page, you might want to say, for more info about our products, fill this format. You could actually attach that to your website. And of course, you can email it. Now, when you do that, it's going to actually want to attach to your Outlook, your full client on your computer. It doesn't open it up in the web browser. So I'm going to hit no on that. I just wanted to show you. Okay, and when we're ready to go, we would actually send it or copy it and paste it in the email and go from there. Once that's out there, this is what, let me go back out of this. Okay, so this is that one I just created here. We're going to go ahead and delete that because it doesn't have all the example data in it. So earlier I had created these two things here. I've got a quiz and the survey. So this is kind of more of a finished version of what we just went over for how to do a survey. So this is what it looks like here. I've got my background. Now I've got some responses. So as people fill this out from the link that I sent, you'll be able to collect responses. So again, instead of you having to scan a bunch of paper in or go back to your email threads and see who all responded, you'll be able to just get the analytics right here. So I can see that 6 people responded, how much time it took them to complete it. I've got some details down there. So for example, if I want to get a decision on something, it's real easy to see what the most popular answers are by just looking down here. So in this case, my survey was, where should we have our annual kickoff party? Acropolis does this every year, and there's always a little bit of a debate on the planning committee on where we should have it. So these are some popular places in St. Louis. Just a very simple survey. You can also go to click on view results, and you can view individual results. So if you want to see what each person did, you can review their answers here. So if you'll notice, I've got several internal people, but then I've got some anonymous ones here as well. Again, if you send it to internal people, it will recognize them by name, even if you don't ask for your name in the survey. But if it's somebody from the outside, they're just going to show up as anonymous, and that's why you would need to put a your name field and have them fill it out if you really want to get their name. You can just scroll through the different responses. We'll go ahead and go back here. You can also open it in Excel, so I'll do that. And it's going to open it up on my local copy of Excel, which will probably come up on a different screen. Bear with me. I'll drag that over here. So once it's in Excel, it's obvious you can do whatever you need to do with it. It's already got it set up in table format. You can sort, filter, whatever you want to do. You can even actually, if you had a lot of responses, you could even import this into Power BI and do some really heavy analytics there. So let's go ahead and get back to our forms here. Let me show you some more advanced things with the form. So when you're in the form, if you have questions, you can actually, let's say if somebody answers the question one way, like the food allergies, maybe it skips ahead. You can click on this little more ellipses, and you can do branching, and then you can say things like, if somebody enters an answer, you go to the end of the form or something like that, and that way you're able to have people skip questions that aren't relevant, things like that. All right, so that's the branching. And there's also some advanced options over here on the right for your form under settings. And earlier we saw this when you clicked on share, but you can select who's allowed to fill out the form. So anyone with a link can respond. That includes anonymous people, or you can say only people in my organization. By default, it does record their name, as you saw. You can force it to only one response. So for example, if you're voting on something, you maybe only want to allow one response per person. So there's some more options here. Of course, it's going to accept responses. If you want to have a timed survey that expires after a certain amount of time, you can say allow it as of this date, and I want to not make it available after this date. If you're doing some kind of a quiz, or you want kind of a more randomized result, you can shuffle the questions. You can, of course, when they complete the survey, they're just going to get a very basic, your response is submitted. You can customize that if you want. If you want the people that are filling out the form to get a receipt of their form and the link to it, you can click this box here. And if you want to be notified each time somebody completes the form, you would just check this box. That's probably good for if you're having a survey that you're not expecting a lot of immediate results, and maybe you're going to get 1 or 2 responses a day. That might be a good option there. So anyway, those are the advanced features of the forms. And again, that was more like a survey. So I also did a new product features quiz. So I'm going to go over that really quick. So you have the forms and surveys, but then you also have this feature. And quizzes are a little bit different in that in the questions, you can assign correct answers and points. So if I click on this question, for example, I've marked this, the range of the new drone that we're selling is 5 miles, okay? And you can actually, I think you click down here in points, and I've assigned 50 points to this. I can require it and so forth. The next question, what color are we adding to the new product line? The correct answer, they have to type it in. I picked blue. You can add multiple correct answers if there are many. And again, you assign a points to that. Then when you send the responses out, then when you send the quiz out and everybody completes it, you'll be able to see this similar to how we saw the results from the survey. Some of the differences are when you review answers, the format's a little different. You can easily see, Christy here answered the first question right, but the second question wrong. So her score was 50 out of 100. You can click through and kind of see what each person did. Here are the questions and some more details about how everybody answered it. And then you can actually post your scores. So if you want to, for example, teachers would do this, but in a business, you may want to let a team leader or manager know how their people scored on a review of our new product release, things like that. So these have been posted. Those users will get a link to their results so they can view it. I think they're able to see kind of the aggregate data as well. On these users, I haven't posted their grades, but I can do that and just hit post scores. So that's how you do quizzes. All right, so we're going to go back to the main screen here. Okay, now what I want to show you is how you can integrate forms with other Office programs. So, for example, here in Teams, let's say that I'm working in I'm on a planning committee, right? So we're planning the end of the year kickoff, or the beginning of the year kickoff party, sorry. And what we want to do is we want to discuss the ideas, and we want to look at the results of that quiz, or I'm sorry, that poll. So what I'm going to do is in the Teams channel, I'm going to go and add an app at the top. So I'm going to click this plus button here, and there's many things you can snap in or add into Teams, but I'm going to click Forms. It's going to come up. Now I can create a new form or add an existing one, and then it's going to ask me how I want to look at it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an existing form, and I've got this annual kickoff party survey. And what I want to do is I don't want to really have people in this channel fill out the form because maybe they've already got it through email. I want to really look at the results of this so we can discuss it in the channel. So I'll hit save. So what it will do is we can chat in the posts here. It's going to notify everybody in the channel that I've published the survey results. They can either click this link or just go right to the tab, and then we can all look at the results and talk about it. So that's a quick way to integrate with Teams in a channel. You can also do it in chat. So if we go here over to chat, we've got a conversation going on. This is very basic, kind of a fun thing. But this group of people is talking about where they want to eat lunch today. I know at Acropolis, this is probably the most used feature of Teams, is to gather everybody up. Although right now with the COVID thing, we're not doing that, but I guarantee when we get back, this is what we're going to use it for. So where do you want? So I'm saying as this demo user, hey, where do you guys want to eat lunch today? Christy responds back whenever. You know, let's say there's other people in the chat. I want to go ahead and get a quick poll because it's fun, right? So I'm going to click on the little ellipses down here because I don't really have a way to do a quick poll. So I'm going to click this extension, and I'm going to look for forms. Now you only have to do this the first time you do it in your chat or in your channel, but it's going to explain what I'm doing here, what features are. So I'm going to go ahead and click add it. It just creates a little bot. So my question is going to be, where do we want to eat? And this is a good way for adoption. If you can do fun things like this, you're going to get people in your organizations to use these programs like Forms. Let's see, Qdoba and Wicked Green, my two favorite places over there in Clayton. So you can add more options if you need to, but I'm just going to hit next. And I'm going to go ahead and vote now. I want to go to Wicked Greens. And we'll go ahead and send this out. I guess it's sent, so I'm going to close it. All right, so what I'm going to do is on the, I'm just going to jump out of my demo really quick and switch to another screen. And I'm going to go into this chat here. I'll bring it over so you guys can see. So this is what the other person, this is, what's her name? Christine, or yeah, Christy Klein. So she got the chat from Alan, which was me on the other screen. Where do you want to eat? She can click, I want to go to Qdoba, submit vote. Now, I guess I did something wrong because it doesn't show Alan's vote there. But anyway, just a quick fun thing you guys can do. So I'll move this screen back over here. And let's switch back to what I also wanted to show you is Outlook. So within Outlook, you can do a quick poll if you do a message. And actually, I need to bring that up. So let's say I'm composing a new email, same kind of thing. Where do you guys want to eat lunch? Or I need to figure out what the best day is for the Microsoft demo. Can you give me your opinion? You actually have to, and I'm not going to go through the steps, but you actually have to go to File, and I think it's under Office Account. I don't know, options maybe, you know, somewhere in here you actually have to add the add-in. I don't remember where that was. I think it's because I'm doing this from the compose message. If I was in the regular Outlook screen, it would work. But anyway, once you have the add-in available for Forms, you can just click, and there's other add-ins out there, just FYI. Find Time is another one, but I'm not gonna get into that. But you'll have this Forms button, and you just click on it, and it just creates a quick poll. So it'll sign you in automatically. I'm just going to give it a second. Maybe I have to click it. Okay, I guess I have to click it. So look, quick poll, Friday, what day should we have it? The answer is Friday or Monday. You can add more options. It's very limited as to what you can do for a quick poll, but we're just going to insert that into the email. All it's going to do is put the link basically in the email. So when you send it out, they just click on it, which looks like this. So I'll bring it over. They just really get a browser tab that opens up with a very simple thing. I don't know why it doesn't do it right in Outlook, but it doesn't. So you put in your information and then vote. We've already seen how to view results and things like that, but it would the person that authored it would be able to look at that. Okay, so that's how you integrate with Outlook. I've showed you Outlook. I've showed you a couple ways to do it in Teams. And I think we are about done with the Forms demo. Let me check here, see if I missed anything else I can show you. I think that's about it. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next thing. Okay, so another Forms platform is Cognito Forms, and this is something that Acropolis has been using for a while. It's one of the many online Forms platforms that are available. If you actually search for online forms, you're going to get many options out there. This is the one that we use, and I guess I'm looking at time. Maria, how are we on time?
You're good. You can keep going.
All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I guess I'm taking longer than I thought. So I'll buzz through this. Sorry for you guys that have to get off here soon. But anyway, it's an online form program. It has many advanced features. Some are paid only. So it's far beyond the capabilities of forms that I just showed you. It's ideal for complex forms and branching logic. So if you have a lot of questions and you want to have it be reflexive or responsive to the user, it also provides a finished PDF. So when they're done filling it out, it provides a nice PDF that you can save in a file or something like that. It also integrates with Power Automate, so you can have it trigger a workflow when they complete the form, things like that. So we're going to go ahead and just get into a real quick. Oops, let me go back one level. Sorry about that. So let me go into the Cognito Forms demo just really quick. And I know we're kind of getting low on time here. So I've logged in. I've got some example forms here. I'm just going to bring this one up just to show you what options you can have when you're building the form. So if you click in any area, it's going to bring up all the different options for different types of fields you can add in. So in this one, I've thrown some examples in there, like you can have text data, you can require a field, you can do drop downs, simple yes, no's. You can also have things where if they choose a button, something else starts showing up. You've got a bunch of advanced fields here. The pay version of this has signatures, digital signatures, tables, all kinds of different things, HIPAA compliance. So there's many things you can do here. If I go back to different forms, for example, let's look at this IT onboarding form here, and I'll actually show you what it looks like. So here's what a finished form would look like. That would be a web link that anybody can fill out. So all they have to do is just have this link and they can fill it out. So I won't go through it because we're kind of out of time, but they would just fill all this stuff out. When they're done, they click submit. What that will look like is, minimize this. We go to Alan here. I did a form and submitted it. He's the one that's collecting the responses, so he gets this email that basically looks like this. It's got all the email information filled out. Now, if I would have had the paid version set up for the demo, you would have got a copy of the PDF and everything like that. Okay, so that's that's Cognito Forms. And just a platform comparison about the different programs out there. I didn't really have time to go over Forms Pro, and also it's not available in my demo environment. So here's just a basic comparison. Forms is great for very basic things like quick polls and surveys, sending out to internal people mainly. You can send it to external. So your typical information worker or regular office worker would be able to use this program. It is free and included with most M365 or Office 365 plans. Forms Pro steps it up a notch and it has more customization options in the program. It's really something that's similar to like a SurveyMonkey, maybe a customer success team or marketing team would use it. It's got better analytics. If you're using Great Plains, which I know some of the customers that are, I think, on our meeting today are using that, or Dynamics, I'm sorry. It really integrates well with that. It does cost for Forms Pro, it's $100 a month for about 2,000 responses. So it's pretty affordable if you're really going to use it for that. And of course, Cognito Forms, its strength is replacing paper forms. So imagine you're at a doctor's office or it's a job application where you've got many fields you want to fill out. You want to make it convenient for the person that's filling it out. Maybe put it on a tablet or something like that. It's very good for that. It's internal and external. We use it internally, and we use it as client-facing documents. The front office or web marketing people would be the best in your company to use it. You can get a free plan, and then it ramps up there. The cost goes up. $99 is their highest plan for the enterprise. As you add a lot of users, it does go up a couple bucks a user, but it has HIPAA compliance and all kinds of things. Okay, so quick recap here. Forms is included, as I mentioned, so please get familiar with it. It's easy to use, integrates with other apps and automate. Forms Pro has the enterprise and customer experience features that you would need for like a marketing team. And Cognito Forms is great for lots of data entry and a professional finished document. Some of the uses that you can do some of the ideas for using these programs would be things like event registration. If you want to test employee knowledge, for example, we've done kickoff meetings where we had a PowerPoint presentation at the end. It automatically goes into a quiz that's on Forms. You can do that. Just quick polls and votes. Employee survey, how are we doing? You can, for either with Cognito or even with Forms, you can do requesting equipment things. So you can put a little link somewhere if somebody needs a laptop. You can click that and let them fill it out, so forth and so on. Employee onboarding, it's really good for that. Anything with digital transformation. Okay, so just some more info here, and I'm not sure if the links work in the recorded meeting. Maybe Maria can somehow use her wizardry to make this happen, but I'll hover over them really quick, so if you have to. This one's going to be difficult to type in, but basically any of these you can just search online for. Microsoft Forms Quick Start will take you right to how to do it. If you want to get started with Forms Pro, that gives you more. It's under the Microsoft Documents site. That will go much more into the details of what the differences are with Forms Pro and all the advanced things you can do there. In Cognito Forms, I just put a link to their features because I've already gone over the overview. If you go to their features page, I think you'll be impressed with everything it can do. We have a webinar coming up on Thursday, August 20th. Maria's actually going to be doing that one, how to host a webinar in Teams. So please sign up for that. And I also want to mention, so if you liked what you saw today and you're like, wow, this is probably more than I can deal with myself, or I just want to have a professional come in and get us going through the first few, or analyze how our workflow is and maybe find a way that we can leverage Forms and automate and Cognito to do all these things, please get in touch with your VCIO or strategic advisor, and they will set up an appointment to have an expert come out and work with you. We can design advanced form solutions for you. And with that, I just want to, I know we're kind of out of time, but I wanted to leave some time for questions and answers. My contact information is on the screen there, so if you want to email me, feel free. And thank you for attending. So with that, Maria, do we have any questions?
We've got 5 questions.
Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to get to this.
So do you want me to just read you them?
Let's see.
Oh, you got it.
Is the first one, when I search online for Forms, I see Forms Pro. Is that the one?
Yep.
That's the first one. Okay, I can see the question. Sorry. Forms Pro, it's not really a different product. I would say, well, it's just an enhanced version of Forms. So a lot of Microsoft stuff, they kind of provide the simple things for free. And then if you want more advanced features, you've got to use the paid version. So Forms is a paid version. Like I said earlier, it's $100 per month for 2,000 responses, and you buy them in chunks of 2,000 responses. So if you're a really big organization or have a lot of customers and you're going to be receiving a lot of survey responses, you need to plan accordingly. So it's not really a different product. It's just more of an advanced version of Forms. The next question is, can you send a survey to internal employees but have the results be anonymous? Yes, one way that I could think of to do that is change the link. Let me think about that. I think you can change, I think there's some settings around that. You might be able to send it out as, you could choose the option to send it anonymous. But that, you know what, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one, because if they are an Office 365 user, there are ways that, but by default, when it comes back, the person that's collecting the results will see that. I believe that there are ways for the people that are filling out the response, when they see their results link, it doesn't show them all the detail. But I would have to get back to you on that to confirm. I didn't test that. I believe that is the case. You can do that. Can you embed video in a form is the next question. Yes, you can embed videos, pictures, things like that. The next question is, can you do a multi-level approvals and document attachments in either? That's a difficult question. So using Power Automate, you could do some simple workflows where if somebody fills out a form and completes it, it could jump into a Power Automate flow and you know, go to the next person for approval and things like that. I didn't show that in the demo, but I'm sure you can do that. Document attachments, I think you guys saw that I could attach, even in the Forms program, there was an option to show a file upload feature, and in Cognito Forms, it has the exact same thing. Hope I answered that question correctly. The next question is, what are some forms that Acropolis uses to run your business? Okay, so the ones I can think of off the top of my head, our biggest one is probably what we call a project knowledge transfer document. And what that is we have our strategic advisors, our VCIOs, go out and meet with clients, and we're taking requirements for what projects they want to do. For example, they might want to upgrade their server, or they might have a new application they want to deploy. And we need a way to communicate that or capture all that information instead of just doing it in OneNote or Word or something like that. We want to guide the person that's listening to the client and have them ask the right questions. So they're able to fill out this form, and when they get done submitting it, it goes into our system, and then from there, you know, it goes to a service board with the attachment with the PDF and everything like that. We've got it. I think we're using it right now. Our service team might have sent something out recently to capture what our customers' preferences are for maintenance windows. You know, if they allowing us to do server reboots and things on the weekend, or if they have custom schedules they want to set up, things like that. So I hope I answered that question. I believe that's it, unless we have any more that just popped up.
Nope, that's it.
All right, look at that, right on time, 10:30. So again, thank you guys for attending, and please sign up for the next webinar. Maria will be lonely if you do not. And I appreciate your time, and you all stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.